It's going to be very interesting to see how Atow starts this series. He actually started his quarterfinal series against Luis with quite an aggressive stance, and it didn't work out. He ended up losing the first two games. But there was a nice mid-series adaptation by Atow that allowed him to reverse sweep Luis, and it might have been inspired by his teammate Joria's telling him to play a bit more defensive and capitalize on Luis overextending. After game 2, that's exactly what Joria's advised Atow to do. He said just let him freestyle and counter-attack on the open net. But I don't think that's going to work against Juicy. I think that Atow's going to need to go to a different playstyle if he's going to beat Juicy based on the little 1v1 I've seen from Juicy in the past. He's not going to make those big all-in plays that Luis did. He's much more likely to sit a little deeper and attack with a more conservative style. That's a open net miss early on for Juicy. Thinking about trying to score in reverse here. Very interesting boost battle. Atow wins it though with a bump. Well, that I think is exactly in line with what I was just saying. These guys are probably going to have to play a little bit more of a careful matchup here, because I don't think you're going to get as many counterattacks from overextending opponents. That time there, technically was an overextension there. Both players were briefly fighting for a back corner boost before Juicy ended up failing for it. Now it turned out to be a bit of a risky moment. Wave dash demo for Juicy. No open net though, as Atow recovers quickly. High pre-jump save by the Belgian. Keeps him in front, and again, diving save. But notice that Juicy's always got a follow-up on these plays. This is what Atow's probably going to have to accept if he's defending. As that Juicy is a very positional player. He just tries to chip away at his opponents, like many in this tournament have, and eventually find a way through. Atow, overall though, he's been a very well-rounded player since his recent splash in the one scene. Obviously incredibly mechanical. And that's not to say that he's just coming in and trying to clip on people with 3v3 moves. He's been positionally impressive as well, and defensively very, very solid. I don't think this is going to be Juicy favorite. I think Atow is the favorite in this one, not just because he's up by 1, but stylistically he should be just fine in a matchup like this. Oh, great flick. Atow, clinical from close range, and now up by 2. Thinking back to that one mistake from Juicy earlier on. Trying to wave dash into position to score an open net of his own. He didn't get it to work quickly enough. Now, does that indicate that Atow might have a pace advantage here? What I do know about Juicy is that very fast in 3v3. That's a mistake from Atow. Juicy going to try and wave dash to set up a shot once again. A couple of wave dashes needed before he's comfortable firing. Air dribble by Juicy. Tries to fake low and then go high at the last second. Atow covered all bases. Now Atow's going to try and counter with an air dribble of his own. Similar idea from Atow and his air dribble to the one we just saw from Juicy. Both players tried to go over the top of their opponent. Will we see a switch up if they return to air dribbles again in this game? Immediate half flip recovery there from Juicy to stay on the ball. Oh, look at this. Well, Atow underestimated how quickly Juicy was able to get back into position there. He tripped up Juicy on a landing. Juicy still rolled with it and stayed on the ball. Even though I'm sure Atow was a bit surprised that Juicy was able to catch up with him there, he should have been able to see it. We saw in his POV that he could actually see Juicy moving quickly beside him, so that was a mistake to play for the back corner boost. So, got a boost advantage here. Juicy almost able to get a shot to work out, and in fact the threat of a shot leaves the boost available to be stolen. Atow with 1 boost left after he clears from the ceiling. Juicy fakes a clear of his own, tries to surprise Atow. It's not worked though, and now he misreads his crossbar height to concede a 3rd goal. Perfect shot by Atow. Juicy thought it was hitting the bar, might have barely touched it. It definitely went in after. Don't hate that fake clear though by Juicy. It was a good attempt to control the play and to get Atow to run away and give him a free possession. Phenomenal pre-jump in defense from Juicy as well. Atow has to leave him be for now. Oh, look at that. Juicy leans away from the ball, perfectly absorbs Atow's challenge, and scores off the back of a low 50. Really well played there. Look at how far left he steered to catch that challenge and keep the ball under control. Very, very impressive stuff. Juicy trying to catch Atow again. In fact, it works this time. Just a little trip is all that's needed. When you've got your opponent sideways like this, any nudge, any small bump as soon as they jump is going to have such a big impact. Juicy ties the game. Now he's landed in a decent position here, but Atow will shoot, and it's a good shot as well. Atow slams it top corner. Juicy had position to save this, but he was not expecting Atow to just boom it straight at him. Lead for the Belgian again. Is there a reason South America and OCE are not competing in this? Yeah, just geographical distance, simply. Not playable ping-wise. To have more regions than we currently have playing is not playable. You can either there's two ways to do a tournament like this. Great shot from Atow again. Huge pop off there. There's two ways to do a tournament like this. Either you do it on predominantly US East servers with Europe and South America playing against each other in US East, and then US and Europe teams going back and forth against each other. But the issue with that is that South America versus US on US East servers is a lot less fair than Europe versus Middle East and Europe servers is. And you're not going to get you're not going to get USA teams agreeing to play on South American servers. The routing's really bad and you just get terrible connections. So you're not going to be able to do that. The only way that you can make this really happen is to have Europe, Middle East, and USA play. And yeah, USA plays at a slight disadvantage, but it's far more fair than having a Brazil team play at a massive ping disadvantage. It's totally unplayable, essentially. I mean, no one's going to argue that it was tough for USA under these circumstances, but I think even the biggest, copers from USA's losses would admit that it is winnable. It is definitely winnable against Middle East players on European servers. It's been done many, many times before. And it did happen this time as well. First Killer got 2 wins on European servers. USA just kind of underestimated KSA's B team and got outplayed. Clears really produced some brilliant gameplay. But yeah, that's why I would love to have a global version of this on LAN, but that's for the future. Yeah, Khaled did it on NA servers years ago, but these days it's so much harder to do that because players are so much better at the game than they were back then. When Khaled beat Chronic and Lion Blaze on NA servers during Salt Mine 1, Khaled was just clear of the competition. He was just number 1 by far in 1v1, and that's why he was able to do that. But these days, even the top 10 players are not that much. They're not as far clear of the next 10 players as Khaled was of everybody else back then. But at least all of the NA players. There was a couple of players in Europe who could give him a good match. Flakes, for example. I think also Jorias could have at that point, but he was actually banned from playing Rocket League, funnily enough. So I know some people are going to ask, well, what's the story behind that? Because you weren't there when that happened. I think Jorias, was he like visiting his friend's house or something, and he played on their account and got banned? What was it that happened again? How did Jorias get banned for 2? He got banned for 2 weeks from Rocket League, the game, not from like a tournament or something. And that actually meant that he couldn't play the qualifier for Salt Mine 1. Yeah, banned for account sharing or something, but it was something silly that he was like, oh yeah, my bad. Fair enough, I'll take that ban on the chin. But yeah, at that time I think Khaled was the best. He was definitely more solid. Jorias is a lot more of a nervous player back then compared to what he was a year on from there. And Khaled beat him a couple of times, and Jorias beat Khaled a couple of times, but in the bigger, higher pressure situations, Khaled seems to have the edge. Joreuz was a show match demon. So I would have put my money on Kaladin Salt Mine 1 kind of era versus anyone, including Joreuz. Yeah, Joreuz beat him in Salt Mine 2, so next year it was definitely his year. Lovely counter-attack by Juicy. As I always say, getting the save and landing outside the net is key on these lunging shadow defense positions. You've got to try and force the defender. If you're attacking there, you've got to try and force the defender to land in their net, or you know, even better would be to just score. Juicy delays his flip there just to make sure that he's not going to give Atow a favourable challenge. This time he flips early, trying to switch up the timing. Possession play prioritised for Juicy here. Up by 1. He's looked pretty good in this matchup, despite the fact that Atow really outperformed him at the end of the last game. Great bump by Atow here. Juicy tries to pre-flip back to the ball. He had too much momentum in the other direction. Yeah, I'll enable the VOD after the stream's done. I'll definitely turn that on, don't worry. JC Valley, thanks to the Prime, and also 15-month tier 1 from Eros RL. Welcome back to you. Appreciate the resub. Big boost grab there for Atow. How quickly can he get this towards the top corner? It's not going to go towards the top corner. It's towards the middle of the net, and Juicy's pre-jumped to save it. That's unbelievable. Atow, in a panic, leaves himself vulnerable to a demo in the midfield. Juicy scores after a brief tussle in the back corner. Well, how did Juicy read that that's where the shot was going? I thought top corner, surely. Atow just went for shot height rather than left to right placement. Oh, big boost miss. Juicy had full control. Now he's going to need to hope that Atow misses, and that's what's happened here. Juicy had hardly any boost. Atow did not need to shoot that ball as close to the crossbar as he did. Monster of a clear though from Atow. Gets him right back into attack. He's got Juicy pinned back. Juicy calls his bluff. He just knew that Atow wasn't likely to immediately jump. Perfectly times his own, and now he's up by 2 goals. Earth to Free, thanks to the 34-month tier 1. He says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Lucker McQueen, thanks to the 19-month Prime. Welcome back. It won't let you donate. I don't know why that would be happening. I think the donate button should be working. I've got minimum donation set to £50 though, so only £50 or more will donate to the prize pool. If you're trying to donate less than that, I'd say save it. You can still support my stream with smaller sums by subbing or cheering. For prize pool donations, I explained this in one of my other videos, but I'll briefly say that I decided to change it a while back to try and de-incentivize people from spamming lots of small donations and accidentally donating more than they probably want to. Yeah, prize pool donations are a bit addictive, or they have been a bit addictive for some people in the past, who have then gone on to tell me, yeah, I probably shouldn't have donated all that. Which I have no problem refunding, by the way. I never have. But now we don't need to even think about that. Anti-microtransactions, yeah. I think, can you do that with bits as well? I think you can. But yeah, I never noticed too much of an issue with bits. See, the difference with bits and donations, just to briefly mention why I don't have the same like minimum for them, is because when you buy bits, you actually have to go and purchase them. So it's much easier to like keep track of how many you're buying, because you have to buy bits from Twitch and then you use them on a stream. So it's a lot easier to, I think it's easier at least. I think it's a better system to prevent people from accidentally donating too much to a streamer than they want to. That's a bit unlucky for Atow. He's really up against it here. He just stays next. Yeah, that's fair enough. As Juicy puts in a 6th goal. Great shot by Juicy to put Atow in a compromised position. But that's going to be game 2 for the Frenchman. We'll jump into game 3 here in what I think is as close to a must-win match for Europe, for the rest of Europe as you can get. I mean, they've got Joreuz waiting, so you could argue that it's possible he can reverse sweep France, but that's so difficult. Monkeyman's looking incredible. Juicy looks so solid as well, and Moxie needs no introduction. But yeah, like I was saying, when you cheer bits to a streamer, you actually have to go and purchase bits and then you cheer them in a channel, so it's much easier to keep track of how much money you've spent. Same thing with subbing. You can only sub once, or if you're gifting subs, again, there's lots of confirmations along the way. But for donations, yeah, that's probably the one that in all my years of streaming, almost 7 years of streaming, it's the only one where I've had multiple instances of people donating and then going and checking how much they've donated and realizing, whoops, shouldn't have done that, and then having to message me, or I've heard it from some of my colleagues as well, some of my friends, and ask the streamer to refund them. So yeah, that's why I do it the way I do it. I think it's not normal even. I don't think many streamers do it like this, but I think it makes sense once you reach a certain size of channel. But yeah, it's nothing to do with revenue cuts. If I did allow donations to myself, all donations are prize pool donations, but if I did allow donations to myself, that would be in fact the biggest revenue cut for me, because PayPal fees are lower than Twitch percentage cuts. But I'm not really too fussed about that. I'm going to keep donations as prize pool only. No change. Oh boy, well that's a nice round number. Thank you, Vacanis, for this £94.76 donation to make it a clean £1,000. I'm sure that all of our OCD viewers are delighted, absolutely thrilled that you've chosen to donate that amount specifically. Much appreciated, man. Thanks for the support to the prize pool, and I'm sure the players who win this event will be very thankful as well. Just to reiterate, the prize pool will entirely go to the winners of this event. The 3 winners can decide amongst themselves how they want to split it between them. Maybe it'll be an even 3-way split. Maybe it'll be just a hard carry getting more. I don't know. I'll ask them after the tournament's over, but they will all go to the winners. Winner takes all, and right now that means that the winners are going to be taking just shy of $1,000 each. I'm going to be matching that donation, so it's up to another 50. Extra luck of the lefty for the £50 prize pool donation. I'm matching that, so we're actually up to £2,100, which I would guess is around about $2,700 or something like that. So maybe it's $900 each right now for the winners. $900 each, something like that. We'll have to calculate it once the event's over, but it's in pounds for now. Yeah, there's a big chance for Atow to go up by another one. Oh, what a goal! Fake the high flick and fake the wave dash shot as well. Look at this from Atow. So he's got his flip, fakes a wave dash shot. Juicy flips where he thought it would be after initially going for the internet save to block the high shot. Dives down low, flips, and Atow's a whole step ahead of him the entire way. It's kind of a double mind game of sorts. He's right back in the driver's seat. I've talked a lot about Atow's style for this match, and if it's going to work or not. He's not used that same sit and goal style and counter-attack style that he beat Luis with. He has been a lot more proactive, as we expected. Oh my goodness, what a save. It's been Juicy who's been the more defensive player for the majority of the match, and he's done so well here again to keep Atow at bay. That's a crazy save. Well, let's talk about Juicy for a bit. Does he have another style as well? We've not really seen him try. It's another big kickoff win to the outside. Atow's got to stop dodging so far on the side of the ball and pushing the ball to the outside like this. He's getting hard countered. Does Juicy have an all-out aggressive style? I think I've seen kind of clues about that. Maybe in the final minute of every other game that he's played, he'll start to lunge in for more challenges. I'd love to see him do that in a mid-game or at the start of a game at some point. I'd love to see Juicy just send it, because it's going to be very difficult for Atow to see that coming. Juicy's been so careful, he's been so cautious, he's been so calculated with his approach so far that if he just rushes a challenge in this kind of position here, there's a very good chance that it could work. Atow just shields the ball. He's managed to slow roll Juicy as well. Atow shields the ball with the threat of an air double bump there. I think he actually clipped Juicy as well, and then kind of trolls himself and his opponent by scoring more slowly. Atow quite happy to half flip and give Juicy the midfield play. 3-goal lead, this isn't a terrible idea, even if your opponent does have a good counter to it. At least time is being wasted. It's a bit risky move there from Juicy. Runs right into the line of fire and loses his car. reset for Atow. Juicy manages to pull shot him into the ball to force the save on his own shot. Atow's still in such a good position though. That boost steal's not going to work though. That might actually spawn for Juicy. He's not able to get there late enough though. Atow with an early shot denied Juicy's ability to just sit on that boost and wait for it. That's the important thing to note there. If you're trying to deny a boost grab, it's all about volume. It's all about continued pressure. Atow's definitely got that right now. Juicy had half a look at the goal, but his boost has been so limited. That's a very desperate effort from distance. Atow won't be too bothered by it. Juicy spots an opportunity. Wanted the demo in the back corner, wanted the boost steal as well. He got neither. Oh, but he spots Atow's free jump and collects a bit of a freebie here. Atow trying to read an air dribble. I mean, it's a very high bounce, so sure, you might see an air dribble in that position sometimes. Atow jumped so early that Juicy just shot the ball under him. He didn't even have to predict, he just saw the jump. 2-goal difference. Atow with 100 boosts in defense. Juicy knows not to commit there. Tough position though for the Frenchman. Atow wasting so much time with these plays, but he's lost control all of a sudden. And Juicy spots him off his line. No way has he done this again. Well, almost gets in a 5th goal from careless Atow positioning. Juicy just trying to keep the ball close to him here. It's all about spacing. He accidentally lets it roll too close to Atow. A quick turn. A high takeoff. Puts Juicy in a good position. Atow's pre-jump connects this time. Time's running out. Juicy tried to get the boost on spawn. He was too early. Atow grabs it. To the air he goes again. Flip reset. Delayed shot. Again blocked by Atow. And that's going to be game 3. Going to the Belgians, surely. Rest of Europe fighting back against France's least experienced player. TT Cody B, thanks to the £54 and £8 to the prize pool. He's completely ruined the round number, but thank you so much for the support to the tournament and support for the one scene. And yeah, you're more than welcome. He says thanks for the content between RLCS splits. It's a pleasure. I love to get one's content between splits if I can. It's always been a good time for players who otherwise don't really play a lot of ones to get involved. Players like Monkey Moon today. You know, if we're mid-split, I highly doubt he'd be wanting to play. But between splits, we get the joy of watching him enter the fray once again. Juicy's another one of those players, not really had too much experience in the one scene. He looks very capable here. He's given Atow a good run for his money. The one thing I do want to see from Juicy is aggression early in a game. He's been very standoff. He's kind of given Atow all of the options. At the start of these games, he's letting Atow go for the ball a lot and just hoping to counterpunch successfully. But one of the things that made Monkey Moon so successful in his earlier matchup was his ability to just sneak in challenges when his opponent's not expecting them. I don't think Juicy's had enough of that early in the games like this. That's a good try though. Trouble off the ground, doesn't make contact though, and Atow might think about shooting this one. Phenomenal control. It's just gone straight in off the bar. Look at Atow's catch and flick here. Just catches it in the perfect spot to then launch into the roof of the net. It's so important that he caught that the first time as well, because he's running out of space to flick that into the goal. He's got a tougher angle with every passing second. Juicy shot, lackluster. Atow's clear. Didn't really do too much either. Juicy's follow-up shot has ran straight into the one spot Atow can reach to save, and that's, you know, a bit of caution there from Atow. Was it advised though? Yeah, deft shot on target that gives him a chance to recover, but that also played very nicely into Juicy's ground game. If Atow's going to try and just slow Juicy's counter-attack down by shooting the ball and sealing the boost, probably want to shoot a little bit higher than he did there. Now Juicy with a flick game decides not to go for the boost seal. Look at that decision making from Juicy, very impressive stuff. The boost seal is tempting, but he knew better than to overextend in that position. Once again, not really much happening for Juicy. When Atow's between him and the goal, Juicy scored a lot of open nets. But actually outplaying Atow's been difficult for him. Atow's got a much higher outplay percentage when he's on the ball. He's not on the ball right now though, accidentally gives it away. Juicy gets the boost steal. Much like that from Juicy. He's not made contact with that challenge, but he's just letting Atow know that he might be there. Oh, that speedy takeoff from Atow. Juicy just did enough, but here comes Atow again with the pre-flip and the goal. Well, how's he managed that? He was up the quicker of the two, bumped into the ceiling, and then pre-flip for the finish. If you give Atow time on the ball, if you give him time to get comfortable, he is an absolute demon. He's certainly feeling comfortable in this series. Doing work for the rest of Europe. Is this going to be the second series in the tournament? Second match in the tournament, I should say, where both teams win a series. Monkey Moon's already done it for France. Can Atow fight back for the rest of Europe? Well, doesn't want to get too far ahead of himself here. He's got a bit ahead of the ball on that play. It does really feel right now that the outcome of this series will just depend on whether or not Atow executes on his offensive strategy or not. Because Juicy's had an impressive defensive stand, but he's not really found enough counter-attacking openings to look like the favourite in the last game or in this one. Atow just has that more deadly offense available to him. Oh, he's so diverse with it. Fakes the high flick again. Juicy has tried to counter these high reset shots by positioning on the underside of his own crossbar, but Atow just switches low. Very educational shot there as well by Atow. If your opponent's on the crossbar of their own goal, the most difficult thing for them to do is to get down and move sideways. So it's a good idea to shoot low and to the side. So to get down, you usually have to double jump. To get sideways, you've got to dodge, and you can't double jump and dodge. You can only pick one. Atow up 2 goals again. Just Juicy have that aggressive idea in this matchup. Thinking when we get in the final minute, we're likely to see more commitments, but right now he's just scared to fight Atow. Whenever there's a race to the ball, Atow beats him cleanly to that one. The bounce is kind to him, and he's up by 3 now. Just slight hesitation by Juicy there. He didn't have a lot of boost. He was trying to fake in that position that he had a little bit of boost available to him. He's hoping that Atow would turn away and just give him the ball for free. Atow never one to turn away. He always backs himself to win a race to the ball, whether he's got boost or not. This time he doesn't, but he still scores. Juicy backs off. Just hesitates on his challenge again, doesn't he? He just didn't finish off the move. He drove into no man's land and stopped. Atow flicks it over him. Juicy has to get a goal here, or he himself will be eliminated from the semi-final. Atow's not likely to give him many opportunities here. That should be one though. Can Juicy take it? How's the bounce going to be? It's not too bad, but Atow shuts the door in the near post and keeps the score at 4. It's just a confident performance from Atow now. Juicy's out of here. Forfeit at 6-2. Juicy is done for the day as Atow equalizes the series. France have got more work to do. They're going to eliminate the rest of EU.